Facebook. It's Ann and Bill with Tuesday Tea Time. And it's the fourth week of the month. So this week is Helpful Hints with ABC. We got a couple things that we want to go over. Just little tidbits here and there. But to start, you see, I got my Dolphin stuff up. We're on a 3-day non-losing streak. We won two, and we didn't lose last week because we didn't play. So, and we get to go to the game this coming Sunday. So that's our exciting. Not a helpful hint, but just a tribute, I guess, right? So anyway, I came up with three things. Ann came up with three things that just kind of want to highlight. Just interesting stuff. Did you know type thing. So the first thing um, is matching loyalty points. So before you go on a cruise, let's just say you're going to go on Norwegian. You go on Norwegian, you say, you know what, I'd really like to try something different. And you talk to your agent, you talk to us, whatever, and you say, you know what, I'd really like to try Oceania. Did you know that if your status on Norwegian is high and you're not going to Oceania because you don't want to lose those privileges transfer. So another example would be, if you've gone on Royal Caribbean a lot, you have a lot of status, and it's really, really hard to leave Royal Caribbean because, maybe you're a Diamond Plus. I mean, you get a lot of good benefits. Those privileges transfer to Silver Sea and Celebrity. So you can try Celebrity at that higher level. For them, it's Elite. Diamond Plus and Elite are on the same thing, and you get all the privileges. So look at that if you're considering maybe adjusting or moving just for something a little different. Look at who matches whose loyalties, and it's a really big thing now in the cruise industry where they're starting to allow that to happen. Where I believe Royal Caribbean and Celebrity were the first two to do it. And now there's a bunch of them that are starting to do the same thing. So like Carnival and Princess are together. They're not sharing their loyalties yet. So it's something that you should kind of investigate. Actually, the first one to do it was MSC rather. MSC is a great line, and when they came into the market, to the U.S. market, full force, I mean, they've been around a long, 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 long time. They mostly do a lot of European stuff, but they came into the U.S. market with a fury. And one of the ways they were trying to get people to try their stuff out was loyalty matching. So they've been doing it for over 10 years. But now Royal Caribbean and Celebrity, they're kind of the new, we're going to match points between our brands, which is really kind of sort of nice. So that's tip one. Look and see what loyalty matching opportunities are out there if you're kind of looking for make it a little bit of a change. Um, and if you're not signed up for the loyalties, you probably should, because you start getting benefits after the first cruise on most cruise lines. It doesn't cost you anything to join.
Would it be helpful though to also know what those benefits are before you go on the cruise?
Yeah,
So
you
you
should
don't
know
miss
what
out
your
on any of
benefits
them.
are, especially if you're accumulating them. Like on
Yeah.
Holland, you get star levels, and if you start accumulating star levels, it would be nice to know what you're supposed
I
to get.
mean, do you
But I
get,
think most people, if they're accumulating loyalty points,
they already know?
they're aware of it. I mean, we're kind of not too good about that, so I guess there's probably others out there like that. Yeah. So anyway, the second thing that I wanted to say as a helpful hint is, you know, the dining. There's lots of ways to dine. You can do specialty dining, you can do main dining, you can do what they're calling now casual dining, like where you go up to the pool deck and they got pizza or hot dogs and hamburgers and that kind of stuff. Or you can go to the buffet. Now, some buffets are a little better than others, I think. Some brands have just a better layout, a better presentation for their buffets. So the buffet, I kind of always look at them as, I'd rather do the main thing. But some buffets are really, 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 really good, and now they're coming into like a food court kind of thing where you can get a little bit mix match from all different kind of venues, like on well, Virgin's buffet area. It's not a buffet per se. It's they're going to serve you, but it's a smorgasbord of items that you can choose from, and you get a little bit here, a little bit there. Um, Norwegian on some of their newer ships has got that same
The
concept.
Prima, wasn't it?
The Prima had it,
Yeah,
yep. But on a lot of them, and in particularly because we're getting ready to go on Celebrity, um, their buffets have cooking stations where they make fresh pancakes or eggs to order, or maybe they're doing crepes or something. So, sometimes you just running by and looking at stuff. I would suggest that some of the fresh made in front of you stations are a good opportunity to take advantage of something a little different, a little better, um, just because it's fresh. It's freshly made right in front of you. And then probably lastly, and I think this is a big thing for me that a lot of people don't take advantage of. They kind of walk by them and wonder what's going on. Those trivias and the Atrium Activities where maybe they're playing some live music or something. Those are fun activities to be involved in, but you can't show up late. You can't show up right on time because then you're going to kind of be too far back. You're not going to be able to. But to participate in those, I think is fun. I think, it's a great way to just relax and unwind and something that, I mean, you can do something different that you wouldn't normally do. And the atrium is a great place to just go and get a drink, sit there for 30, 40 minutes. They always got something going on. There's, like I said, live music, some kind of um, interaction between the crew and the guests. So those are my three. What do you have?
Well, I know this is helpful hints and tips and things for travel, so I was thinking of some things. What do I do to prepare myself at our trips and stuff? And I think of home. How do you prepare your home before you leave? Um, I always hold our mail to make sure that it's not being left, and it's easy to do. And another thing I like to do is I clean our house and everything, just so when I come home, it's nice and fresh and stuff. And I know these are just some things that I do, but
Go ahead.
do you have something you want
No,
to say?
I'm just twitching.
Oh.
I'm being a distraction for you.
So, and I always plan. Well, we do it together. We kind of write down like, okay, we're leaving the house at this time, and you kind of get yourself on a schedule, so you're not gonna run late all the way until you get home, and have a plan, and it just seems to flow better. Um, I don't know. We have meals kind of made up, so when we get home, we don't have to cook anything right away. We want to be spoiled from on the ship. So we have some already set up. So when we get home, we can just kind of have some prepared already. I don't know.
Yeah, I think right before we started, we were kind of going over what we're going to talk about. You were going to talk about, pre-planning your excursions, not just for the savings aspect, but for other reasons.
So if you when we always pre-book our excursions, because in that way it helps us pack. If you need to know you need water shoes or you need a swimsuit because you're going on an excursion with that, you want to pre-book them. Some people think that maybe we should book them on the ship, but then what if you decided you want to do something and you don't have the means for it? So it's kind of like think about that, and that's how I look at that. I like to be prepared a little bit better.
Yeah,
Even though I'm not.
I went on a cruise with my mom and a couple other couples, and it was a Nordic cruise to go see the Northern Lights. And as we crossed the Arctic Circle, they did the Arctic plunge. Well, I didn't plan for that, so I didn't have a bathing suit. I don't know if I'd have done it. I think I would have if I had had the bathing suit, and I certainly wasn't going to buy a bathing suit. But that's a perfect example of kind of going over the activities you think you're going to participate in. Yeah.
And being prepared.
And just being prepared.
Yeah. Surprises are nice, but sometimes it can set you back a little bit. Yeah,
so and then the other thing you talked about Embarkment Day.
Oh, Embarkment Day. I like to think about, people are usually coming on and they're tired and they're not going to do much for evening, but that's a great night we booked our specialty dining that first night. It just seems to be a little bit more, it wasn't as busy, a little laid back.
Yeah, a lot of the premium lines will include some or a lot of specialty dining, and sometimes you get around to it. And I think sometimes it is nice to put it up front. A little more casual. You can kind of go a little later than what you normally would, especially if you're waiting on clothes to get there or something. But yeah, so recapping, we talked about using the buffet and taking advantage of the whole thing. So kind of do an exploratory when you first get on the ship and explore all the different areas, all the different venues, to include the buffet, and see where the cooking stations are, because sometimes that's an elevated experience and it's kind of nice. We talked about loyalty matching. If you've been on the same cruise line repeatedly over and over and you have some loyalty and it's really hard to make that transition to maybe something a little different, see about maybe if loyalty matching is a way to kind of help with that. Atrium Activities.
Yes.
Pre-book your excursions, so it kind of helps with your packing what you need. Plus, it's a better deal. And then specialty dining on Embarkment Day, just kind of alleviate some of the initial bombardment on the main dining where people are trying to figure out where they're going, what they're doing, and all that kind of stuff. And then the second day you can show up and it's not as chaotic, and you get a little bit more relaxed experience with the specialty dining. And then some of the things to do before you leave, like stopping your mail or holding your mail, maybe freshen up the house so that when you come home, you're going to be used to someone else taking care of everything, and you don't want to come home and say, oh, now I got to do whatever. If you can straighten up the house before you go, it's kind of nicer way to come home.
I like what you said. I'm just going to interject. You said about the venues, looking over the whole ship. Try the different nightclubs, try the different areas early on in the ship, because if you happen to find one later in the ship, then you would have wished you'd probably been there a little more often. So it's nice to really look around and see what the ship has to offer, and go outside of it a little bit. I mean, out of your norm.
Well, I think before we go on every ship, we kind of have a general idea where we think we're going to hang out.
And we don't. We find
and about 70% of the time it's with or whatever. So it's kind of nice to make that connection. So anyway, I think that highlights it all.
Yeah, I think so.
So next week we're going to talk about cruise deals. We should
a lot of cruise deals
on,
this week.
I think we're on. This week is the week to buy.
Black Friday.
Right. Black Friday has been going on for a little while, and now all the ones that were not participating early all put them out today. I mean, I must have been going through at least 70 or so different Black Friday stuff over the last couple of days. It's a lot that's out there, and they all are having them land, hotel, chains, and all inclusives, all escorted tours, everything. And then next week is the first week of the month, and where are we going? We're going to be
In Florida.
in Florida, so we should be able to do our tea time on cruise sales, cruise deals, what's out there. We'll pick out a couple that we want to highlight, and let you know what cruise sales are out there. But don't wait until then because, yeah, like Ann
Now it's
said,
happening.
now's the time, and it's almost all of them are ending on the 30th. So give us a ring, let us know. One of the benefits of using a travel agent is you're not stuck with just one product. We have a wide variety of suppliers that we deal with on a routine basis. So matching the right product with you and your wants and expectation is much better than getting, a steal deal where you just paid so little for this mediocre vacation. Let's get you a great vacation and then marry that up with the best deal that's out there for that particular thing. So,
Well, I would like
Go ahead.
we would like to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving,
oh yeah.
to remember all their families and get together with friends, and it's a time to be together.
Turkey
And if
Day.
you're traveling, safe travels. We pray for all the airline people,
We'd
they
love
got
to
it
hear in the
busy.
comments, what's your Thanksgiving thing? Ours is mashed potatoes and turkey. Um, that's what we do. And I think you like the ham, right?
No, I like.
But not this year.
We're having turkey.
It's
Turkey is Thanksgiving.
Turkey, green beans, and
Well,
corn, and stuffing, and you
it's
gotta
just the
have
two
rolls.
of us. We
You
won't
gotta
have
have
all
rolls.
of that.
No,
No.
and we're leaving the next day.
Simple food. We'll have a turkey.
But we're having a turkey.
All right.
All right, I guess that's about it.
I think so.
All right, till the next time.
Travel well.
Travel often.
Travel with ABC.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.